All right, welcome back to the Central Florida Fantasy Podcast. Today, we're going to be doing a mock draft, and I'm joined here again by Garrett and Bo.
What's going on?
What up?
And so this edition of a mock is going to be on Sleeper. Shout out Sleeper. They're always holding it down. Once you go to Sleeper, you'll never look back. Just trust us. And today, we're going to be doing a 12-team mock. And this is also going to be Superflex, just so you know. So that means that you can start 2 quarterbacks in your starting lineup. There are going to be no kickers, no defenses, and it's going to be full PPR. And we did a random number generator for our spots, and Bo got the 3rd pick, Garrett got the 5th, and I got the 9th. So, we ready to get into this?
Do it.
I'm ready.
All right, let's kick it off.
So, as usual, in a Superflex league, Patrick Mahomes, McCaffrey, first 2 off the board. McCaffrey went first, which I disagree with. I would take Mahomes. But in the redraft, you might have an argument for McCaffrey.
All right, so I'm on the clock here. Most of you who are going to have a 3rd or 4th round pick or 3rd or 4th pick in the first round, McCaffrey and Mahomes will probably be gone just in the first 2 picks. So I'm sitting here. I got Dalvin Cook. I got Josh Allen, Henry, Kamara, Kyler. So I got 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs I can choose from. I think I'm going to go with Josh Allen, and this is because that in Superflex leagues, quarterbacks are the most important, and so getting that tier 1 top 3 guy is crucial to where I'm at.
All right, so then Bo takes Josh Allen right there, and Team 4 goes ahead and takes Dalvin Cook right after. So now, Garrett, you're up.
So if this was this is a Superflex, but if this was Superflex Dynasty, I'd probably be leaning quarterback here. For me, I feel like in redraft, it is still nice to get your RBs early. I like having stable running backs, and then, they know my boy, Alvin Kamara, is looking me right in the face. I'm probably going to take him. Obviously, here you'd also consider guys like Derrick Henry and Kyler Murray. But I just feel like, especially here this year, Alvin Kamara's workload is going to be insane, especially with the news of Michael Thomas going down. A lot of people are skeptical about Taysom Hill taking over the starting job, and I kind of do think that with Michael Thomas going down, Taysom Hill will be the starter week 1. I'm hoping for Jameis. That would help Kamara out a lot, but I still think Kamara is going to get his passing work even with Taysom Hill, because I feel like more of the passing work, though, will be designed plays to Kamara, but rather than just like dump offs that Drew Brees would do. But Sean Payton wants to get the ball in his best player's hands, and I think he's going to do that often, so I will be taking Kamara here at the 5th pick.
All right, I like it. So after that, the board goes Derrick Henry at the 6, Kyler Murray at the 7, Saquon at the 8, and then I am up here with the 9th pick. And so right now, the top stud running backs are off the board. We can look. I really don't want to reach on anybody because I think one of these guys will fall back to me on the turn. Wide receivers, Tyreek Hill's there, Devontae Adams is there. I don't want to go there just yet, though. And it is Superflex, so I'm going to get a guy who I think has the ability to finish the year as the quarterback 1. The rushing ability's there. He's got some new weapons in his offensive passing production, so I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson here with the 9th pick.
Very, very big upside with Lamar this year.
Oh, yeah.
And off the board at 10 goes Jonathan Taylor, then 11 goes Zeke, then Dak, then Tyreek, Travis Kelce, and Russell Wilson, and Alex is back up with the 14th pick.
Yeah, it's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th pick.
Oh,
all right, and so now it's tough because I want to send it on a Devontae Adams, especially in a redraft league. He's going to finish as a wide receiver 1 again, most likely than not. But I really don't know what running backs are going to get back to me. So I think right here I'm actually going to be taking Aaron Jones on the Packers, one of Devontae Adams' teammates. I really like Aaron Jones now with the news that Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. People got some hope and hype around A.J. Dillon, who I think could come in and be a great number 2 to Aaron Jones' number 1. But even when Jamal Williams was on the field, he was still getting his, and Aaron Jones was still getting his. So I think right here I'm going to take Aaron Jones as my RB1.
Great pick there, and Jones very high upside again this year, especially with Rodgers coming back. So then after Alex's pick, we got Stephon Diggs at the 2-5, Justin Herbert 2-6, Devontae Adams 2-7. I'm sure Devontae Adams will continue to rise up draft boards as we get closer to the season, especially with the Rodgers news. I'm going to stick with another running back here. I know I probably should take QB, but I feel like after Herbert is a big tier break at quarterback, the next best QB on the board is they got Rodgers, Burrow, Hurts, Stafford, Lawrence, Brady. I feel like any of those guys would be a reach here. We talked about him in our previous podcast, Austin Eckler. Very big role this year in the Chargers offense. It's going to be a great offense in LA. I feel like Eckler is just going to be a target machine there, so I will be taking Austin Eckler with my second pick.
I love that in PPR.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of Eckler.
All right, so after Garrett, between me and him is one player, and that's Nick Chubb. So now I'm going running back here, and so I have Najee, Gibson, Mixon, Swift, and Clyde. And so these are the guys I'm really considering at this pick. I'm going to go Najee Harris, just because even in a redraft league, I think he's super valuable. I think he's going to get a lot and lots of carries and targets. He's just going to get a lot of work in this offense. No one really behind him that we should be scared about. He's young, so his legs are fresh, and so I think injury prone is not something we have to be worried unless it's some kind of freak accident. But I think he has fresh legs, and I think he's going to just be an absolute workhorse this year. So I'm going to go with Najee to pair up with Josh Allen.
Love the pick. Absolutely love the pick, especially with the 22nd overall pick in the draft. I mean, getting a guy that you know is going to be a 3-down back, I mean, that's a great pick there.
I was really hoping Antonio Gibson fell to me, but he went pick right before me, and right after went George Kittle, then Hopkins, then Waller, and then Gibson. I was really hoping Gibson would fall, but he didn't, and so now on my board I have Mixon, Swift, and Clyde. How these three running backs, it's really hard. It's really hard to make a pick. I think these guys are kind of all in the same tier. I like Mixon, but he's burned me before. I don't know if I can trust him again. With Swift and Clyde, I think these are guys that are both really, really good. I like Clyde's situation a little bit more, but I think Swift will also get a lot of volume. So it's tough for me. Wide receivers, A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, really good guys, but it's just too long to skip on another running back. It's tough for me here.
Is Mixon reeling you back in? What you thinking?
I don't know. He's burned me so many times. These guys are literally just so close, 31, 32, 33. So, like, literally right next to each other on ADP and rankings here. I don't know, man. It's tough.
Well, take your time. You have 24 hours.
I think I'm going to go Clyde here, just because I think he's in a great situation on the Chiefs' offense. I think he's going to get fed this year with passing work and running game work, so I think I'm going to take Clyde here.
Like that pick a lot. I'm an advocate. I think you should definitely secure at least 2 RBs early if you can. It's ideal because RBs are it's very hard to come by. It's hard to get workhorses, so getting 2 workhorses back to back definitely a good pick. DK Metcalf goes in between us at 3-4, and here I already know who I'm taking. I'm going to be taking Calvin Ridley. I know I still don't have a quarterback, but I like the QB value later in the draft. We can get like a Tannehill, Stafford, one of those guys. But Calvin Ridley has insane upside this year without Julio Jones. His target share is going to be crazy. Kyle Pitts is there, but he's a rookie, so you don't know how his volume is going to look. Calvin Ridley does have some injury concerns, but right now I think he's healthy, good to go. Solid wide receiver 1.
I like that pick. I was hoping he was going to fall to me, but I didn't really know what the chances of that were going to be. And then off the board after Garrett, Team 6 takes Justin Jefferson. After that's Joe Mixon and then Joe Burrow. So now I'm back on the clock. I currently have Lamar and Aaron Jones. So I got the quarterback one and the RB one. Taking a look at these running backs, I do like some of the names. DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins. But then after that, I mean, Josh Jacobs, I'm high on David Montgomery this year, but in the 3rd round in Superflex, I don't know if I can pull the trigger on that one. The receivers are A.J. Brown, obviously Michael Thomas, the news came out, Allen Robinson, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, who I'm high on. I'm going to hope Keenan Allen falls back to me. And I think right here I'm going to take DeAndre Swift, another guy with huge upside. I like him a little bit more than J.K. Dobbins for a redraft, so I'm going to be going with DeAndre Swift here for my RB2.
Love DeAndre Swift.
Yep, and then Dobbins goes after Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Hurts, a little quarterback run. And then A.J. Brown, Allen Robinson, Josh Jacobs. And I'm glad he did because Keenan Allen falls to me here in the 4th round. And getting a wide receiver like this who is going to be the 11th wide receiver off the board and I think has the opportunity to finish as a top 5 receiver. I'm going to be smashing Keenan Allen here as my wide receiver 1 here. with the 38th pick, I want to say.
Yeah, I think Keenan Allen definitely is a wide receiver one this year. In fact, you're getting him in the 4th round. That's a great value pick right there. He kind of slipped, so you're able to scoop him up. After Alex, 4-5, goes Kyle Pitts, then David Montgomery, and Michael Thomas. Again, these are computers drafting, so Michael Thomas wouldn't go this early, so I kind of got lucky that they didn't take. My guy that I'm about to take here is Matt Stafford. We talked about him, how his upside is through the roof this year. Obviously, other quarterbacks here have Trevor Lawrence, Tom Brady, Tannehill. Love all of them. Actually, after thinking about him, Michael Tannehill. I forgot about him. Okay, I'm actually going to stick with my Stafford pick because if I were, you'd like to get stacks, and A.J. Brown's already off the board, so you'd have to get Julio potentially to stack with Tannehill, but A.J. Brown's gone. But you have both Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods that could be available for me later in the draft, so I will be going Stafford here.
I like the pick.
And Trevor Lawrence goes right after him. I'm looking for a quarterback here, and I'm going to go Tannehill just because he's really the last QB I fully trust on this list to be in my starting lineup. I like Tom Brady a lot. I just think Tannehill might, I don't know. See, I'm used to playing Dynasty, so like
yeah, it's a redraft.
Brady's like hard to pass up on. Let's see, any wide receivers here for me? Ooh, Terry McLaurin. I don't know. I feel it's tough in my spot. So I'm really between Terry McLaurin, who I think is going to get a lot of work with Ryan Fitzpatrick this year. I also like him above Mike Evans. Him and CeeDee Lamb are pretty close to me. Also with Cooper. I think I'm going to stick with. I think I'm going to go with McLaurin. I'm going to get that wide receiver one.
I like it.
Can maybe hope that one of those quarterbacks fall. Oh, never mind. There they go.
Man, I knew it. And that's the danger of skipping kind of on that QB when maybe Terry would have even been there. So after I picked Terry, goes Tom Brady, then Tannehill, then Chris Carson, then Miles Sanders. So I'm sitting here
at the 5-3.
At the 5-3, I'm really wanting a quarterback here. I have Matt Ryan, Baker, Mayfield, and Kirk Cousins. These are really the only guys I'm considering at this pick. I don't think I really want to take a chance on. I like Fields a lot, but I just don't think he's going to be a starter until, maybe weeks ahead. Carson wins. I think I like Matt Ryan and Baker a little bit more. I think I'm going to take Matt Ryan here, a guy that I think all of us can trust, especially as a QB2, having Pitts, Russell Gage, and Ridley. I think he's got good enough offense to be a QB2 this year.
Yeah, I like Matt Ryan a lot. The passing volume will be there for him. After that goes Chris Godwin. Love Chris Godwin this year. It is a crowded offense, but I think the talent will show. I have a few guys in mind here. I would love to snag Hawkinson because I don't think I'll get a chance at Hawkinson or Andrews on the way back, and I feel like there's a pretty big tier break after those two. So I'm definitely leading Hawkinson. CeeDee Lamb's intriguing because the upside's insane. Compare him with Ridley. Oh, man. It just there are so many good receivers to choose from. I think you have to go Hawkinson with this pick, so that's who I will be taking.
I like it.
I like that too.
That's who I was hoping would fall to me. And then in between me and Garrett, 3 picks, it goes CeeDee Lamb at the 5-6, Mike Evans at the 5-7, then Julio Jones at the 5-8. And now I'm here back at the 5-9. We got Lamar, Aaron Jones, Swift, Keenan Allen. And so this is where it gets into that quarterback tier where it's like you can reach on one of these guys, but most likely the run that's going to be going on is going to be receivers, running backs, and some of those tight ends. Having down a Lamar as your quarterback one helps a lot, just because you're going to be getting those 30-point games some of these weeks. He's got the rushing upside, so I'm hoping maybe like a Kirk Cousins will fall to me at the end of this round, or if not, maybe a Tua or a Justin Fields around that time. But I think we're going to look elsewhere right now. Darrell Henderson's very intriguing, locking down those RBs, those top 3 guys with the Cam Akers news. And so is Mark Andrews. I'm not as high on Mark Andrews as some others are. But looking at the receivers, I see Amari Cooper here, and he has been dealing with some ankle. I think he had surgery on it earlier this offseason, I want to say. He's working back from that, but if he's healthy and Dak's healthy, he's going to get his. And after Amari, I kind of see a little tier break with these wide receivers. So I think I'm going to go Amari Cooper here with my wide receiver 2 to pair with Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Amari Cooper was the wide receiver 1 last year, while Dak was the quarterback for the first 5 weeks, and of course took a step back once Dak got injured. But I mean, as we all know, Dak's back, so sky's the limit for Amari this year.
Yeah, and so passing on that tight end was kind of tough, figuring I could get one of those running backs later, or those wide receivers later. But I'm not too worried about it. Now it's just like once you miss out on, 6 guys, then it's like you most likely got to wait. So now it's like I'm not going to pull the trigger on Fant or Goddard, Gesicki, Tanya, and Irv Smith, some of those guys. So let's look at the quarterbacks here. It's tough. This is where it gets to the part of the draft where you're going to have to be reaching on some guys just to fill position needs rather than other needs. It's like I could pair a nice receiver with Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. I could get a DJ Moore, Robert Woods I really like. I know if Robert Woods falls to Garrett, he's most likely going to take that pick. So I think right here I'm going to actually go with my second quarterback just because after Kirk Cousins, I don't like the volume that Baker's getting. Justin Fields, we don't know if he's the actual starter from day one. Carson Wentz, there's some question marks. Tua, there's some question marks. Is Deshaun playing? So after Kirk here, I really see a big break off. So I'm going to go ahead and secure my quarterback 2. So I'll be having Lamar Jackson and Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Alex is right. I am going to take Robert Woods. I was between Robert Woods and Kirk Cousins, so he took the quarterback. I will be taking Robert Woods. As you know, I took Stafford 2 rounds earlier, planning on this, and the 6th round, take Robert Woods. We talked about his upside. It's crazy in this offense. I think Stafford's going to be great with McVay. Cam Akers goes down. They're going to want to throw the ball a little more. Cooper Kupp's right there too. I think they're very close, but I think Robert Woods is the guy you want to have at the receiver position in this offense. So I will be taking Robert Woods.
Definitely. And so after I took Kirk at the 6'5", went ETN, then Galladay, DJ Moore. Garrett takes Robert Woods at the 6'8". The 6'9" is Tyler Lockett, and now Bo's up for his 6th pick.
So I'm sitting here. I'm looking for. I like where I'm at. I got my 2 good quarterbacks I trust fully. I've got my 2 running backs I trust fully. I've got a wide receiver. And so these next 2 picks at the 6'10" and 7'3", I'm going to be looking to acquire a tight end and a wide receiver. So looking at the wide receivers now, I got Kupp, Deontay, Ayuk, Higgins, Claypool. I really like all these guys. Maybe Deontay, probably, and Kupp most. I don't know. I think they're all really close. So I think I'm going to go tight end because I made the mistake of not drafting Brady or Tannehill, and it hurt me with having to draft Matt Ryan. And so I think I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert this year at my tight end. I'm going to pick him over Fant only because the QB situation in Denver is unknown. I don't really like Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater. It's hard for me even to draft Sutton and Judy this year just because of both these quarterbacks are not good, and so the wide receivers may hurt from that. And so I think those wide receivers both have more targets than Fant, and so I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert because I like Goddard more than Gesicki, and I like him over Thomas and Tanya and Smith.
I like that pick.
After I pick Goddard, goes Cooper Kupp, Mike Davis, Baker Mayfield, and Deontay Johnson. And so now I'm left with Ayuk, Higgins, and Claypool. These guys are... I have Higgins and Claypool in lots of dynasty leagues. And in our main one, I have Higgins and Claypool. And so this is a tough pick for me because I like Claypool a lot. I think I'd put him 3 on this list of these guys. Higgins and Ayuk are super close for me. I think I'm going to pick T. Higgins in this spot, and not just because I'm a Clemson fan, but I really like Higgins this year. I really like this Bengals offense. I think Joe Burrow is going to be top 3 in passing attempts this year. I think they're going to be throwing. That's how it was looking before Burrow got hurt last year. And I know Chase may hurt people when we think about Higgins, but T. Higgins is going to get his. He's going to have over 100 targets, and he's a really good player, and so I think he's going to benefit well with just how much they pass this year.
Yeah, I love T. Higgins this year. That volume is going to be insane. Him and Jamar Chase are definitely 1A, 1B there. Brandon Ayuk goes in between us. I was definitely thinking about him, but he does make my decision a little bit easier. I need to secure that second QB spot, and one guy I do like this year, obviously you guys know I like Paris Campbell, so I'm going to try to get his quarterback here, Carson Wentz. He's reunited with Frank Reich. Hopefully he can return back to that 2017 form where he was the MVP frontrunner until he got hurt. So Carson Wentz will be my quarterback 2.
All right, and then so after Garrett takes Wentz, the 7-6 goes James Robinson. I was hoping Javonte Williams would have fallen to me, but he gets taken here at the 7-7. And then Justin Fields goes at the 7-8. So right now I think quarterback's out of the way for now. Maybe we'll snag another guy later down towards the bottom of the draft. Got 2 running backs and then 2 receivers. So right now we still need a tight end. I'm looking at Noah Fant here. I do like the value there now. I waited a couple rounds, passed on to Andrews, Goddard, got Amari Cooper and Cousins. So now I'm thinking now's the time to pull the trigger on Noah Fant. I think he's going to have more targets this year than Gesicki, Logan Thomas, Tunyon, all of them. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take Fant here and then just see what other position players roll to me back after the turn.
Yeah, I think after Fant, there's definitely another tier break at the tight end
There's
position.
another little tier break. So then Edmonds goes off the board, then followed by Claypool, Sutton, Deebo Samuel at the 8-1, Devontae Smith at the 8-2, and then Odell Beckham at the 8-3.
What do you guys think about Deebo over Smith? You guys like that for redraft?
I like Deebo, but Devontae Smith might get he's definitely going to lead the team in targets. He's the clear alpha there. Deebo has Kittle and Ayuk to work with. I would definitely take Devontae Smith over Deebo, but it is close because I think Deebo is very talented. Really big problem with Deebo is just staying healthy. So if he gets stay healthy, I think he's going to be good. Devontae Smith might be the safer pick here just based on the volume.
I think with these 5 receivers here, I think they're really close in ADP. We have Chase Claypool, Sutton, Deebo, Devontae Smith, and Odell. Out of you guys, between you two, what receiver do you like the best out of these 5? Because they're all really close in ADP.
Personally, I would put Claypool first, and then after Claypool, it'd probably be Devontae Smith, followed by any order of Sutton, Deebo, OBJ. I'm not really too worried about them, but I would definitely have Claypool number 1. I just think what he did as a rookie, 11 touchdowns is insane. If you're getting him in the 7th round, most likely as a wide receiver 2 or 3, I would definitely rather have him. But yeah, all these guys are kind of in the same tier. They're going to be giving you the same input week in and week out. I'd
agree with the Claypool 1, Devontae Smith 2. I don't know about y'all, but I'm almost all the way out on Odell Beckham. I know everyone, the reports are he's healthy. Obviously we know how talented he is. It's just this Browns offense. It's a run first offense. There's no doubt about it. And
yeah.
I'm not sure if I trust Baker Mayfield to get Odell Beckham the volume he needs in order to be relevant. Maybe in the 8th round you can make an argument, but I would rather have Deebo over him. Sutton's interesting. Obviously now we know that Rodgers isn't going to be there, so Sutton's going to fall down some draft boards. But I do feel like Sutton is the alpha in Denver. I know people want to everyone loves Judy. I like Judy a lot. He's a great player. Sutton just has the alpha build. But yeah, that's the order I would take it in. I'm all the way out on Odell.
I'd probably have Claypool at my 1 in those guys. I really like Claypool. I was even considering him at my last pick, which is in the beginning of the 7th round, and he just fell to end. So I like Claypool a lot. I put Smith after him. I would go Courtland Sutton at 3. I think Courtland Sutton's really good before his ACL injury. He had a great season before that, and I think between Odell and Deebo, it's really a toss-up. Honestly, I would probably go Deebo before Odell just because I think Deebo has more potential this year in the 49ers offense.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. All right, so now here with my 8th pick, currently got the 2 quarterbacks, the 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and a tight end. Right now I'm just going to take best overall player, either at running back or receiver. So I'm looking at these running backs. You got Melvin Gordon, Raheem Mostert, Ronald Jones, Sermon Fournette. It's really not any guys that jump out at me. And with some of the receivers, it's kind of the same thing. You're getting into that. Once you get into these kind of rounds in the football drafts, all the sexy names are gone. You're just trying to bet on guys that are going to give you that upside because you got the volume guys up top in the draft.
You've got to know your football in these rounds.
You got to know your football in these rounds. And this might not be a pick that a lot of you guys like, but I think right here I'm actually going to be taking a guy that's on the team that I like. I'm going to be taking Juju Smith-Schuster right here. And a lot of people were out on Juju Smith-Schuster coming in on the year, but he was still second in that team in targets. He had well over 100, and he's got the best rapport with Ben. He's the longest tenured Steeler out of that receivers room. I could see targets going down a little bit now if they got Najee Harris in a run game, but I'm definitely liking him over the likes of Chark, Judy, Waddle, and just a little bit ahead of Robbie. So I'm going to go ahead and be taking Juju, and as a wide receiver 3, if he gives me wide receiver 2 numbers, then that's a smash. So yeah, I'm going to be taking him with my 8th round pick.
Okay. After that, we got Ronald Jones at the 8.5, DJ Chark at the 8.6, Tua Tagovailoa at the 8.7. And so I feel like with my team build right now, I have a lot of players. Obviously, the upside's great, but I have a lot of floor players. I know. I feel like Stafford, there's just no way he busts. Kamara and Eckler, great floor players. Calvin Ridley, he's going to get an insane amount of targets. Robert Woods is the ultimate floor player, even though he has some upside. TJ Hawkins is going to get targets. I'm going to shoot for upside here with a quarterback, and it seems like, a couple of months ago, couldn't say this, but Deshaun Watson, it seems like he's going to be playing this year. He might get a suspension, but we don't know. It seems like he's going to be playing. I don't think he'll be for the Texans. But, with Carson Wentz as my QB2, it's kind of risky. I do believe in Wentz, but I do want to shoot for the upside right here with Deshaun Watson because we know if he does play, then, he's a top 5 quarterback. Top 5, maybe top 6. There's a lot of good quarterbacks, but Deshaun Watson here in the 8th round, if he plays, is a steal.
Yeah, I love that pick. I just think, if Deshaun plays, like you said, it's an absolute steal at 8. And, with the trade rumors going around now, he could be going to the Eagles, he could be going to the Dolphins, the Broncos. There's teams that want him. There's teams I think that are going to go get him. He just doesn't want to be in the Texans. I don't think the Texans want to keep him. So I think it's a great pick, especially with just kind of backing up Carson Wentz there. So after him goes Trey Lance, another good QB with upside. So now I'm looking at the wide receivers here because I have all my other team filled out. I have my 2 QBs, my 2 running backs, my tight end, and I need one more wide receiver to fill out my complete roster. And I think both of these guys beside me know who I'm going to take. I'm going to take Laviska Shenault. I think Laviska, we talked about him in the recent podcast with breakout players, but man, I think Laviska is going to shine this season. Especially with Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars' offense, I think he's going to be the most targeted guy there, and I think he's a yak guy. So he's a yards after the catch. He's going to break tackles, juke people out. This is a guy you want on your roster. You want a Jags player, and so I'm going to go with the young upside and get Laviska here.
Yeah, obviously love Laviska. I was thinking about him with the previous pick. After that goes Melvin Gordon, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle, and Robbie Anderson, who I was thinking about or was trying to take with my next pick, but I got sniped a few picks early, so I'll have to look elsewhere. But Bo's back up on the clock with the 9-3.
Yeah, 9-3.
And so now, as my whole team's filled out, and I really like it actually. I need one more flex, and so I need one more flex, but all my position players are filled out, which I like, and so I'm going to pick a guy here that has upside. I really would like to pick a QB, but just to finish out that flex, I think that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm really between, it's getting down to the deeps here already. Okay, so I really like Will Fuller. I don't think I'm comfortable taking here, though. I really like Curtis Samuel. I think I'm between Curtis Samuel. I like Tyler Boyd this year, but I already have Higgins, so I don't want both of them. I like Trey Sermon and Fournette this year, but I think I'm going to have to roll with Trey Sermon because this finishes out my 3rd running back, and I think Trey Sermon's going to get a boost, I think it might take a couple weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but I think Trey Sermon's really going to show why the 49ers drafted him. I think Kyle Shanahan's going to use him really well. I would like to take a receiver here, but a 3rd running back is more important just in case of injuries, bye weeks, stuff like that. I want to trust the guy I'm putting in. So I trust Trey Sermon and what he's going to do.
Yeah. So, I was going to take Trey Sermon with the next pick. I love the upside with Trey Sermon. I said earlier that I think his rookie season might be his best season just based on the Garoppolo being quarterback, given more passing game work. But I could be wrong there. Trey Sermon, a lot of talent there. He could be the 49ers guy for years to come. So now I have to
another 49er running back goes after Sermon. Look at there. An ADP, Mostert and Sermon just right next to each other.
Yeah,
so
I just don't agree. I don't think
even
Mostert
sleeper
should be picked there.
telling you that it could be a 1A, 1B, or Sermon could easily take that job over.
Yeah, I think Sermon's the guy you want.
Yeah. So there's a few more running backs I would take here. However, I feel like I could wait maybe till next round to snag one of them. Really want to get that 3rd wide receiver while I can. There's a few guys I do like you said earlier, Will Fuller, Curtis Samuel, which got put on the COVID list, but he'll be fine to start the season. Brandon Cooks, Tyler Boyd, Michael Pittman, Antonio Brown. I think I'm leaning Curtis Samuel. It's tough. There was just news today that Ryan Fitzpatrick seems to love Adam Humphries for some reason. So that could just be some training camp hype. I still think Curtis Samuel clearly is the number 2 there behind Terry McLaurin. Don't know how I feel, though, about him being my wide receiver 3, but I do plan on shooting for more upside as the draft goes on at wide receiver, so we could rotate people in and out, but here I will be taking Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I was really between him and Trey Sermon. I think Curtis Samuel could be a real surprise to a lot of people this year just because of the Washington football team's offense and what Fitzy's going to do.
Yeah, Fitzy loves to sling that rock.
All right, so now I'm here up with my 9th pick. I already got 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 2 quarterbacks, and a tight end. So I am looking to fill that flex spot, and I'm probably most likely going to go running back here. There's 2 names that jump out. It's Leonard Fournette and Damian Harris. Leonard Fournette, the only problem is that he's most likely going to be splitting the backfield with Ronald Jones, whereas Damian Harris is concerned. The Pats O-line is top 10 per PFF. And behind Damian Harris, it's Sony Michel. Rex Burkhead left, and then James White's he's a receiver at this point. He's a passing game work kind of guy. So I think right here as my 3rd running back, I'm going to go ahead and get the guy with the guaranteed volume. I don't know how his ADP is this low, but in the 9th round, I'll go ahead and take him here. It's going to be Damian Harris.
Yeah, love Damian Harris, especially if Mac Jones gets a starting job. I feel like Mac Jones will pepper the running backs more than Cam Newton does. And then I'm sure many of you know, maybe not, but Mac Jones and Damian Harris were actually roommates in college, so you know they're boys. You want to feed your boys.
Definitely. So after I picked Damian Harris, it went Will Fuller, Daniel Jones, Robert Tonyan to finish out the 9th round. And then 10-1 went Leonard Fournette, 10-2 Logan Thomas, and then 10-3 Ryan Fitzpatrick. So now here it gets to the point where you could go ahead and secure that quarterback 3. After the top 4 guys, 5 guys, you're not really getting a starting quarterback at that point. So I could look to go there, but Garrett already has 3 quarterbacks. I'm assuming a lot of these other computers aren't going to take one. And so I don't want to go at the running back position again. I'm going to go to the receiver room. And I'm going to have to scroll a little bit for this one, but I think that he outscores everyone above him, which might sound crazy considering he's the 142nd overall player in ADP. But I'm going to be going ahead and taking Darnell Mooney here. He's one of my guys this season in Redraft and Dynasty. I just don't see a world where he finishes outside the top 30 and as a wide receiver, and getting him at my wide receiver 4 here in the 10th round, I feel like it's an absolute smash here for my team build.
I think this is a perfect example of how all you guys are going into this season of redrafts. This is going to happen in a lot of your leagues where Mooney's going to fall to the 8th, the 9th, the 10th round, 11th round maybe even. Man, this is a guy you need to stick. And I think me, Garrett, and Alex all feel the same way. I think his route running's really good. I think he has really good hands, and he's the number 2 option on a Chicago team that's only going to be getting better. And so I think Darnell Mooney was a great pick there.
Yeah, so after Darnell Mooney goes Brandon Cooks at 10-5, Michael Carter 10-6, and David Johnson 10-7. I really like the way I started this draft, but down here in the later rounds, I've been getting sniped left and right. My plan was to take Michael Carter here. So my plan was either to take one of Damian Harris, Leonard Fournette, or Michael Carter with this pick, and they all got taken. Still a couple guys I do like here. I know I talked about Kenyon Drake. I do like Zach Moss a little bit. However, I think I don't want to reach yet. I could probably get one of them on the way back. Hopefully I'm not passing again, and it's going to bite me in the butt. But Antonio Brown here staring me in the face. Like I said, his upside's insane, especially with an injury to one of the either Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. He's going to be a wide receiver 2 easily with wide receiver 1 upside. He's going to have crazy boom weeks that you could hit on. So Antonio Brown will be my pick here.
I like that pick a lot. So in between Garrett's and then Bo's next pick here in the 10th round, it's going to be Irv Smith, tight end from Minnesota. And now, Bo, you're up with a 10-10.
Well, I was really thinking about Irv Smith here because I have Dallas Goedert, and though I do trust him, I don't trust him fully, and I do believe a lot in Irv Smith this year. I like Irv Smith. I went to acquire him in one of our other leagues, our main league. I really like Irv Smith, and so I was hoping to take him there just to give me a little backup, a little insurance as my second tight end, but he goes in front. So now I'm looking at the wide receivers, and man, it's tough here because I already have Teagan, so I'm not going Boyd. I like Pittman, and I like Mike Williams, so I'm really in between these 2 guys. I know Mike Williams is the bona fide wide receiver 2 in LA. I think this year is a contract year. He's going to get throwing the ball a lot. And so I think I'm going to go with Mike Williams here, especially if this was a Dynasty League, I'd be going Pittman. But since this is a redraft, I'm going to go Mike Williams because I think this year is going to be the best year of his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
And as a wide receiver 4, I'm really comfortable taking him in the spot. I think Mike Williams or Trey Sermon, I could play at that flex position. And so I'm going to go with Mike Williams, another Clemson guy. After Mike Williams goes Michael Pittman, Rob Gronkowski, Tyler Boyd, and James Conner. So all those guys I was considering at that pick have all gone away. So I'm happy I took Mike Williams where I did. And so I'm really liking my team. I'm really liking my team and where I'm at. And so I have my 3 running backs. I got my 4 wide receivers. I got a tight end. And so here what I'm thinking of is I'm either going to take a QB, and I'm either going to take a QB or tight end. And so I have Zach Wilson, Derek Carr, Ben Roethlisberger, Jared Goff. And like Alex said, after those 4 guys, I mean, there's just a huge tier break off. And in case of Matt Ryan or Josh Allen getting hurt, I need a guy to step in. I need a guy to step in well. And so I think I'm going to go with Ben Roethlisberger here. So this is the last year.
It sniped me.
I sniped him. Alex is a big Ben fan, Steelers guy. So I just think out of these 4 guys, Big Ben has by far the best situation. He has Najee, he has Chase Claypool, Juju, Deontay. And so I think getting him as my 3rd QB, I think is a perfect situation I can plug in for bye weeks in my quarterbacks or if one gets hurt. So I think Big Ben's a perfect pick here.
And in between me and Bo goes A.J. Dillon, which leaves me with Zach Moss. I think I'm going to take here. I know Devin Singletary's there, but he's kind of ass. So, I mean, Zach Moss still going into his 2nd year. He showed signs, but he did battle injury. I was fully expecting the Bills to draft a running back in the draft, and they didn't. So maybe they do have some kind of confidence in Zach Moss. I think he's a better player than Devin Singletary. I need to get another running back. Right now, all I have is Kamara and Eckler for my first 2 picks. So I was confident in waiting this long and getting another running back. I think those 2 will just be there all season long in my RB1 and 2. Yeah, I'll take Zach Moss here at the 11-5.
All right, so then after Zach Moss goes another little string of running backs with Kenyon Drake and Naheem Hines. Hollywood Brown goes at the 11-8, and now I'm back up with the 11-9. And at this point, we all got our starting lineups maxed out, so these are just going to be all of our bench guys. And so what you're shooting for here is the upside. I mean, the guys in your lineup you know are going to be the week-to-week studs. But so here, I was looking at quarterback. Bo got me there with Ben. I was looking at Ben. I'm either considering Derek Carr, maybe. I really don't want to pull the trigger on Jared Goff. That's just gross. And now Michael Thomas goes down. Jameis Winston. I don't really know about that. Zach Wilson has some upside. If he falls to me back at the 12th round, I'll take him. If not, maybe reach on a Derek Carr. But right here, I think I'm going to take a receiver. I think what I'm going to do is try and get Corey Davis here and then Zach Wilson. Because in that receiving room with the Jets, I think it's really Corey Davis and then Elijah Moore. And then behind that, I mean, you got Mims. I think they got Keelan Cole. But it's just kind of names after that. But they paid Corey Davis a bag this past offseason. So I'm going to go ahead and get him here as my wide receiver 5, I think now it is. Yeah. And so, yeah, Corey Davis right here at the 11-9.
And so after him goes Higbee, then Rashad Bateman, Evan Ingram, Michael Gallup, Gus Edwards, Devontae Parker, and Alex plan worked.
I was gonna say he should probably have taken Zach Wilson because I thought Zach Wilson had a higher chance of going than Corey Davis, but I mean I was wrong. Zach Wilson's still there for him, which is a good sign, good plan for Alex.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And so these are some of the changes that, during drafts as fantasy managers have to make. And so I made a decision earlier to pass on a QB, and it ended up biting me. I wanted Tannehill or Brady, and I thought one of them could at least fall to me, and I was wrong. But Alex waited here, and it worked out for him. So that's just the chances that we have to take as fantasy managers.
Yeah, it worked out here, and I already have Kirk Cousins and Lamar Jackson at the quarterback position. So I really don't want to get a floor guy with Derek Carr. I mean, we've seen what his ceiling is, but I think a lot of things with the incoming rookies is people just have high hopes for these guys. We haven't seen them yet. We fantasize about what their ceiling is, what they can be. And if stuff does work out, then we know it's going to be golden. And this is just a guy that I know is going to be a guaranteed starter from week 1. Behind him, I don't even know who's on their depth charts. Joe Flacco, and Garrett said earlier some guy named Mike White, who aside from the UF basketball coach, I don't know who the hell Mike White is. So we're gonna go ahead and take Zach Wilson here with the 12th pick, and it's gonna be my quarterback 3.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think him and Carr are pretty close. I don't know who I would have chosen there. Maybe Carr just because he's more experienced and for a redraft league. Maybe Marks, but you went with the upside there because you have 2 good QBs. So after he picks Zach Wilson goes Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, and Elijah Moore right before Garrett's turn.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I was between Jonnu Smith and Elijah Moore, whoever fell to me, and they both got
You're
taken.
getting sniped left and right, Gary.
Yeah, this is frustrating. But, so looking at the receivers, I mean, Russell Gage is still there. I like Russell Gage. I still want to get a backup tight end. And I think that's what I'm going to take. I think I'm going to go with my boy Adam Troutman. I think this year he's going to take a leap just based on solely on the fact that there are so many vacated targets to be taken over. And Adam Troutman's talented, man. He was the number 1 run blocking tight end last year in PFF, so he's going to be on the field. They already got rid of Jared Cook and Josh Hill. Obviously, I'm a little lower on Troutman if Taysom Hill's a starter, which I do think might happen. But at the same time, I think he's talented. He was a 2nd or 3rd round pick just last year. So I do have Troutman in our Dynasty League. I'm kind of high on him. And that's who I will be taking here as my backup tight end.
Yeah, I really like Troutman a lot too. I think that's a good pick there. After Troutman goes Singletary. And I was thinking about taking backup tight end. I'm so happy Cole Kmet is here when I want him. I like Cole Kmet a lot this year. I think he was kind of faded behind Jimmy Graham last year, but I think he's going to take the step that we want to see from a young tight end. I think he's going to be the 3rd receiving option on this team behind Allen Robinson and Mooney.
I'd agree.
I don't think anyone gets more targets at the 3 spot than Kmet does. So I'm really comfortable taking here as my backup tight end behind Dallas Goedert. So Dallas Goedert and Cole Kmet, 2 young guys with high upside. So I like those picks. After Kmet goes Tony Pollard, then Russell Gage, Marvin Jones, and Henry Ruggs. So now I'm sitting here. I don't need any more QBs. I'm good with QBs. I don't need. Right now I'm really considering. I have 3 picks left in the draft, and they're either going to be running backs or wide receivers. So I don't need any more tight ends. I don't need any more QBs. Now it's just purely wide receivers and running backs. And so running backs off on the board, probably not pretty. And it's Jamal Williams, J.D. McKissick, and Kenneth Gainwell. So these are really pretty much handcuffs. But I think I'm going to go with J.D. McKissick here as my 4th running back. I really love Trey Sermon, but I also don't know how much playing time he's going to get to start the season. And, man, I just want to say that injuries happen. And I learned that best last year. I had several players get hurt on my team, and I really didn't have the depth to back that up. So I want to make sure I have good depth in my team. That's my biggest thing for this year. And I'm professing to you guys that, man, depth is important. And so J.D. McKissick as my running back 4 is really, really good for me. His 17th rated running back in PPR last year. I don't think he's going to get the work load he did last year, but I still think he's going to be catching passes and getting a little bit of the work off of Gibson in that Washington offense.
I like the pick. A lot of people, there's a chance that Antonio Gibson takes the 3-down role, but J.D. McKissick is still there, and I think he led RBs in targets if it wasn't Kamara.
I think it was McKissick.
I think McKissick, yeah. So, if he gets that workload again, definitely a solid flex play. You could have Nelson Aguilar goes in between us. Wasn't really considering him. I'm looking at these receivers. Definitely taking a receiver here. The board's obviously slim. I think I'm higher on McCole Hardman than these 2 are. I just think that McCole Hardman is a better option in best ball. I think he's going to have those weeks where he goes like for 150 and 1 or 2 touchdowns, but then he'll have the next week where he doesn't do much for you. However, Sammy Watkins is finally gone. He is the number 2 receiver. I know technically Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill are the 2 you want to have, obviously, but then McCole Hardman's the 3rd option, and Patrick Mahomes, how much he throws the ball, how efficient he is. You do want to get pieces of this offense, so I'm going to be taking McCole Hardman here. Hoping, finally have his breakout season that people are waiting for.
All right, so Garrett takes McCole Hardman there at the 13-5. Kenneth Gainwell goes at the 13-6, followed by Amon-Ra St. Brown and Rondell Moore, a couple rookies, 3 rookies there actually in a row. I was actually eyeing Amon-Ra St. Brown here just because I know the volume's going to be there. It's a wide receiver 6. That's crazy value here. So instead, I'm going to have to pivot. I'm looking at the tight ends. I already have Keenan Allen, so I really don't want another Chargers tight end. And I'm looking at either Gerald Everett or Anthony Ferkser, just because I know the volume's going to be there. The Los Angeles Rams tight ends coach has just recently became Seattle's offensive coordinator, and he went and got Gerald Everett specifically. He wanted to bring him in, and I really don't think Will Disley's going to be anything. He's had a couple injuries back-to-back years. They got Greg Olsen out of that room. So I think here with my backup tight end, I'm going to take Gerald Everett
that pick.
to back up Noah Fant.
I like Gerald Everett this year too.
And then after him, T.Y. Hilton goes at the 13-10, followed by Jamal Williams and Alexander Madison. And then Philip Lindsay is the first pick of the 14th round.
Steals.
Followed by Cole Beasley and Jalen Reagor. So I think now here, with the way my team's set up, like Bo was saying earlier, once you get probably 3 quarterbacks in a Superflex league, and then you get your tight ends out the way, you probably only need 2 of them. You're just looking for running backs and wide receivers. So right here, I'm looking at these wide receivers, and I'm actually going to be taking a guy that I wasn't really too high on, but recently I've been getting more high on just because I've been hearing some news out of camp. And if you're getting a young, healthy receiver paired with Josh Allen, you're going to want to have him on your team. And God forbid anything happens with Diggs. We don't want to wish injuries upon people, but I think he's 1 injury away from being a wide receiver 1. And hopefully he can make that year 2 leap this year. No one was really talking about him as a top rookie last year. And it is going to be former UCF alum Gabriel Davis.
Yes, sir.
Here at the 14-4.
Beast.
Will he fall to him? Will he fall? And he does.
So, yeah, the player he's talking about is Paris Campbell, who I will be taking here. However, my initial plan was to take Latavius Murray here and then hope for Campbell in the 15th. Did get sniped again. Latavius Murray goes off right after
to
Alex.
handcuff Kamara, right?
Yeah, I was like, injuries do happen. I feel like Latavius Murray, if something were to happen to Kamara, is an RB2. You got to shoot for upside, and Latavius Murray definitely has upside if an injury were to happen. Unfortunate again to get sniped, but Paris Campbell, top receiver on the board. Terrace Marshall's still here. I love Terrace Marshall, but I'm a Paris Campbell stan. I already got Carson Wentz. My opinion, best stack you could possibly have. So Paris Campbell and Carson Wentz united on my team.
I'm happy he took Paris Campbell there because a big guy I'm high on this year is Terrace Marshall. I have him in our main Dynasty League. I went out and traded for him. I think he's going to be really good. So far, so good in training camp. Lots of good things been said about him. Tall alpha receiver, has a real chance to shine this year. This is going to be my wide receiver 5, so I think I'm really happy with that, honestly. I've got good upside in receivers, and so I'm happy to take Terrace Marshall here with the second to last pick. After Terrace Marshall goes Chuba Hubbard, Tevin Coleman, Tariq Cohen, Gross, and then Zach Ertz. And so I'm going to go another wide receiver here, and I'm really going to pick upside. And so there's 2 players I really like here, and that's Kadarius Toney and Bryan Edwards. 2 guys I think that have just a boatload of talent, and I just think that they need to hit right to be in a good spot this year. It's hard for me because I like both players a lot. I just need to pick the better situation. I think the better situation, honestly, is going to be with the Raiders. I think that Bryan Edwards has a higher chance of getting more targets this year than Kadarius Toney. But I also don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think between Toney and Edwards?
For this year, I would definitely lean Edwards. Obviously, very risky for both. I just don't think Toney has much of a role year 1. I know he was a first-round pick. But, a lot of targets available in the Raiders for Bryan Edwards to step up and be that star that people think he was going to be out of college.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually, in this little realm of receivers, I'm actually eyeing another guy. I won't say who. But as far as Kadarius Toney versus Bryan Edwards, I'm a big Kadarius Toney fan. I'm currently at UF, so I got a little bias here. But I just think there's too many mouths to feed in that offense. You got Saquon out the backfield, who's going to get 80 to 100 targets. You got Kenny Golladay now coming in. Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard for what they are. They're still going to get their targets. And then obviously Evan Ingram at the tight end. So I would probably lean Bryan Edwards just because outside of Darren Waller, it's a toss-up between John Brown, Henry Ruggs, and Bryan Edwards. So, yeah, I'd probably lean Edwards on this one.
And I think I have an idea of who you're eyeing. Are you eyeing Jacoby?
No, I'm not eyeing Jacoby.
He was talking about in our last podcast as a sleeper.
That's who I thought he was eyeing too, but I'm going to take him here at this pick. So you're not getting him no matter what.
So right here, as my last pick, I'm really sitting between John Brown and Bryan Edwards. We figured out that Kadarius Toney probably won't have much of a role this year. And I think I'm going to go with Edwards over Brown, and they're literally right next to each other in ADP, literally 3 picks off. But if you have this situation in your last rounds of your draft, which you very possibly could, I would go Bryan Edwards because of this reason. John Brown and Henry Ruggs are going to be used for the same reason in this offense. They're kind of guys who are sent down the field, deep threats, fast, quick agility guys, but they don't have any big receivers. So the 4 receivers they're going to be using in Oakland are Henry Ruggs, John Brown, Hunter Renfrow, and Bryan Edwards. And out of those 4 guys, Bryan Edwards is the clear alpha. And so they want to use him as wide receiver X this year. And so I'm going to be taking Bryan Edwards with the hope that he can become something in this offense.
Yeah, I like Bryan Edwards a lot. Kadarius Toney goes in between us. This roster, I only have 3 running backs, and I'm going to stick with that. I just feel like taking one of these running backs left would just be a waste of a pick. I'd rather just wait for the season to start, hit the waiver wire with this. I will be taking Jacoby Myers. I think right now it's definitely who I'm leaning, but just these running backs left are just, I don't want any part of it. Javian Hawkins, I think either undrafted or 7th round rookie. No, he was undrafted. Rashad Penny's probably just going to get hurt again. Damian Williams, he's in this is Darrell Williams. I think
Hawkins here is the easiest pick because if Mike Davis gets hurt, he's RB1.
Yeah, you could be right, but he probably will go undrafted if he. I don't know. I still would rather have Jacoby Myers over Javian Hawkins this year. I'd rather just take a chance at the waiver wire, so I'm going to be taking Jacoby Myers. He has a chance to lead his team in targets. I know they brought in a bunch of weapons, but he's the guy. He's been there. Javian Hawkins does go off the board, so I was wrong about that. But I'd rather just play my cards right in the waiver wire throughout the season.
Yeah, and so the guy that I was talking about when Bo was contemplating Edwards versus Toney, it was actually Emmanuel Sanders, who is kind of older, but for a redraft league, I did pick Gabriel Davis because I think he will be the Buffalo wide receiver too. But there's already been reports out of camp that Emmanuel Sanders has been doing very well with Josh Allen. He's been oohing and on over some of the throws that Josh Allen's been making, and I think they could be a nice little connection. If it's your last pick in the draft, you could shoot for upside there. But right now, I was leaning a wide receiver, but the way my team's set up, I currently have 6 of them and only 3 running backs, so it might not be the smart choice to go ahead and reach for a running back, but I think that I am. I was either between Javian Hawkins or Rashad Penny. I think behind Chris Carson, there's really no one else in that Seattle room. And at this point, you're not really drafting starters. You're just drafting guys that maybe you hope the situation will get better for as the year goes on. And I've been seeing reports that he's slimmed down a little bit. His only problem has been injuries. I mean, he hasn't been bad when he's been on the field. It's just been the fact that he can't stay healthy. So if something does happen to Chris Carson or whatnot, I think that this will be a solid running back. This will be my running back 4, which is kind of gross. But I'd rather take a running back 4 here over a wide receiver 7. So that's why I'm just going to lead Penny here with my last pick.
So after we finish the draft, it goes Darrell Williams, John Brown, and the last pick is Giovanni Bernard. And so as we look back at the draft, do you guys like your teams?
Yeah, let's go through. You want to go ahead and name your team?
So
do your starters first.
Yeah, so my teams is at quarterback 1, I have Josh Allen. At my 2 top running back spots, I have Najee Harris and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Then I have at my 3 wide receiver spots, I have Terry, T. Higgins, and Laviska Shenault. My tight end spot, I have Goddard. My flex, I'm going to be really switching out between Mike Williams and Trey Sermon. And then my second QB is Matt Ryan. And then my bench is Big Ben, Cole Kmet, J.D. McKissick, Terrace Marshall, and Bryan Edwards.
I like that team. Solid draft.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
So I like the way my draft started a lot. I really did. Up until through Deshaun Watson, my first 8 picks, man, I was loving this draft, and then I just kept getting sniped left and right. Looking back at it, I probably should have I know what I said about Deshaun. The upside's crazy, but I probably should have just taken Sermon there and then waited to see if Deshaun will fall back to me, or taken a Trey Lance, a Sam Darnold, who I like. Instead, I had to pivot and take Curtis Samuel. Like Antonio Brown, I really just kept getting sniped left and right with the running back, so I could never figure out my RB3. I did take Zach Moss, who's very risky. My receivers I do like a lot with Calvin Ridley, Robert Woods as a wide receiver 2 I like. But once I took Curtis Samuel as my wide receiver 3, I kind of panicked, and that's why I took a bunch of other receivers just in case Curtis Samuel doesn't pan out. But I really do like the QB room with Stafford, Wentz, and Deshaun. I like the tight ends with Hawkinson and Troutman, and of course like the 2 running backs with Kamara and Eckler together.
All right, yeah, your team turned out good. That was with the 5th pick that you had in a 12-man league. I was sitting back at the 9, and so my quarterback 1 is going to be Lamar Jackson, and my running backs 1 and 2 are going to be Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift. The 3 wide receivers are going to be Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, and Juju Smith-Schuster, with the tight end being Noah Fant. And then my flex can be either a combination of Damian Harris, Darnell Mooney, or Corey Davis.
Darnell.
And then my quarterback 2 in my starting lineup is going to be Kirk Cousins. And then to finish up my bench, I had either one of the 2 of Mooney and Davis, Zach Wilson, just to have another quarterback rostered, a backup tight end, and Gerald Everett, and then Gabriel Davis and Rashad Penny.
So let me ask one question before we leave. And if you could pick one player on your team that you'd want to try to acquire in every draft, who would it be?
Personally, I'm torn either between Aaron Jones or Keenan Allen. I think where Keenan Allen's going right now is absolutely absurd. When he had Justin Herbert as his quarterback, he was on pace, I think, to be the wide receiver 3 or 4. I would try and get Keenan Allen in every draft you possibly can. Don't overdraft him. I mean, don't take him over the likes of Hill, Diggs, Adams, Hopkins, Ridley, Jefferson, Metcalf, those guys. But right where you can get him, I think, is a great spot. I maybe even would take him over Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf this year. Maybe over Calvin Ridley. I don't know. Those targets are going to be there, but until Mike Williams comes on the field and proves something, Keenan Allen's the surefire wide receiver 1. You know he's getting the targets. You know he's got the young quarterback with the big arm. So I'd say he'd be a guy. And then as far as Aaron Jones goes, he's a guy that's literally top 5. He finished top 5 in PPR scoring at the running back position the past 2 years. And then he just still continues to get drafted so far down year after year after he does that. And with Aaron Rodgers coming back now, I mean, Aaron Jones to the moon. The defense can't stack the box whatsoever. I mean, you have the reigning MVP behind the line. So I'd say Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen, definitely get them out of value. Don't overdraft them, but if you can get them, I would say try and get those players.
Yeah, I agree there. As for my team, I feel like this answer is easy. It's Robert Woods at the 6'8". The fact that he's in the 6th round is crazy. I mean, I feel like I would put him in the tier with some of these players in the 4th round. I feel like he's the same tier as a Terry McLaurin. I'd definitely rather have Keenan Allen. I feel like same tier as Allen Robinson. And even guys in the 5th round, I'd rather have him over Julio Jones. I feel like it's the same tier around with Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, CD, Chris Godwin. The fact that I was able to get him in the 6'8" is crazy. So another one, obviously, Paris Campbell. Got to snag him in every draft late round. Just throw a late round down on Paris Campbell,
You never know.
I took him with the 14th round. If he ends up not doing what I think he's going to do, oh well. He's not going to lose your league. But, I mean, if his upside's definitely there, a lot of targets are opening up. So I think Paris Campbell, Robert Woods, 2 guys you should be targeting.
And with my guy, I cannot leave drafts without. It's going to have to be Clyde. Clyde is one of my guys. He's my guy this season and forever seasons. I really like Clyde, and getting him in the 3rd round, I think, is just, it's a steal. I know I was considering some other running backs at that spot. It was Mixon and Swift, but I had to go Clyde just because of the offense he's on. You want running backs on good offenses. It's just going to help them even more. They're going to have more scoring opportunities. They're going to be in the red zone more. That's what you want. You want those goal line carries. You want those receptions. And I think that's exactly what Clyde's going to give this season. So, I mean, man, if you can just... in one Dynasty League, I have Clyde as my RB1, and I'm comfortable having Clyde as my RB1. So I honestly could have gone Josh Allen and then maybe a wide receiver there or another QB and stacked my QBs and then go Clyde at the 3rd round, but Najee Harris is just too hard to pass up. So I'm happy with those 2 guys, but Clyde is definitely a guy that I cannot leave drafts out this year.
All right, so that goes ahead and wraps up our first mock draft we're doing here on the podcast. We did a 12-team Superflex, full PPR. I think this is the format that a lot of leagues are transferring over to, the Superflex, just to start 2 quarterbacks. I think it helps a lot in your week-to-week trying to differentiate between those quarterbacks. Because if you just do a 1-quarterback league, people can wait, and then get Tannehill, Stafford in the 9th, 10th round. And it's just absurd. So I think this will make your league a little more competitive, causes you to kind of pull the trigger on some guys first and second round that normally wouldn't go there, and then pushes other position players down later.
Definitely balances out lineups.
Balances out the lineups a lot too, yeah.
Yeah, it puts the value on QBs, and when you look at the NFL, the most important position on the NFL team is a QB. So it's nice to have, put that position value on QBs.
I definitely agree. We made the switch last year in our Dynasty League, and I think it's safe to say that we're never going to be looking back. So, so that does it here with our first mock on the Central Florida Fantasy Podcast. Thank you to everyone listening, and we'll be back soon.
Peace.
See you guys.